What is your favourite snack to eat whilst writing?
I don't really snack all that much whilst I'm writing, but I do drink a lot of coffee and a lot of water whilst I'm working.
Do you treat yourself when you have completed the first draft of a book?
I don't normally treat myself after finishing the first draft of a book because I think for me, I know that there's still quite a lot of work still to be done. So it seems a bit too early to celebrate in that way. But I do sometimes treat myself a little bit once I've sent it off to the publisher, or more typically when it's actually been published and I know that the book is out there in the world. Then I might celebrate by having a takeaway with my husband. Or in the past, I have gotten very excited and treated myself by buying a Great Dane puppy, which is something I hope to do again one day after finishing a book.
What is your favourite thing to do when you have completely finished a book?
When I've completely finished a book, I think my favourite thing is getting to spend a bit more time with my family, because you can end up a bit sort of closeted away when you're working on a book. So it's nice to be able to see my husband and children again. I also really enjoy going to Waterstones and buying a whole load of books to actually read, because similarly it can be quite difficult to fit in reading whilst you're also writing. So when you've completely finished a book, it's really nice to go to Waterstones and buy a great big stack of books to read at home just as a reader.
What is your favourite children's book ever written?
It's really hard to pick a favourite ever children's book just because there are so many amazing ones out there that I loved so much when I was little. But I think probably the one that sticks out the most for me is the Folk of the Faraway Tree series by Enid Blyton, just because I remember how intensely I wanted to be there on those adventures and how magical and wondrous I thought all of it was. And that sort of sense of absolute wonder is something that I've never really forgotten from that book.
If you could invite 3 children's authors to dinner, past or present, who would you invite and why?
If I could invite 3 children's authors to dinner, I think I would have to pick Enid Blyton and Roald Dahl because they're 2 of my big favourites from childhood. And then finally, I think Lissa Evans. She's not just a children's writer, I know she does both, but she wrote an amazing children's book called Wed Rabbit. That's one of the funniest books that I have ever read. So I feel like she would probably make a very funny and entertaining dinner guest.
If you could co-write a children's book with another author, who would you like to write with and why?
I think I would find it quite hard to co-write because writing is usually such a solitary thing that you're doing completely by yourself, and although that can be quite lonely at times, I also enjoy the freedom that it gives you and the control that you have over your own story. So I'm not sure how well it would work to co-write with someone. But if I was ever going to try to do that, then if I can pick Enid Blyton, then that's probably who I would choose, just because of how magical and wonderful her stories are, and I feel like it would be really fun to brainstorm with her.
If your shortlisted book were to be made into a film, who would you like to play your main characters?
I'm not sure that I can really think of any actors that are the right sort of age and appearance for playing the main characters. I probably don't watch enough TV to know who these people are. But my parents do still have a tortoise called Pompey, so I would vote for him to play the part of Humphrey, and they can add some of the magical bits in with CGI later.